this. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode. This is episode 70, baby. 70. I'm your boy, Kayode here, joined with our other co-host of the night, Joel, Streaming Joe. But as you could tell, we're missing a piece.
Yeah.
Lewis right now, y'all. Lewis is MIA. We sent the authorities over to his house to make sure he's all right. He's hoping for a game 6. The Yankees are on, as you can see in the back right now. Who knows what's going to happen? But the fate of this show lies in the hands of whoever is at bat last. We'll see what happens. Joel, what's happening, brother?
Nothing much. The administrator is on leave right now.
Major leave. Yeah.
There will be no administrative report this week. Maybe next week. Who knows?
Maybe
we'll see what happens with the Yankees.
If he decides to come back, we'll probably we might get an administrator's report. As you can see, y'all, I'm wearing the WrestleMania 39 merch that is not available anywhere. So don't Google it. Don't try to look on Etsy. We ain't got it, but we only 2 made, 2 of 2. That's it. But yo, welcome to episode 70, man. We got to get into some wrestling stuff. We are coming off the heels of the Fright Night Dynamite. Which has some exciting things happen. One being, and we're just gonna hop right into it, Joe. One being not the return, but the premiere, the one and only Bobby Lashley comes out at the end of Dynamite, at the end of Swerve and Shelton Benjamin's match, which was a really good match.
Yeah,
Bobby comes out, lays out Swerve. They lay out Nana. They're beating the hell out of the useless security. I mean, Joel, by now we should know that security is just props. They're just going to be thrown around. No, I've not seen one security guard land a punch. Nothing. But man, what a reaction for Bobby. I didn't know Bobby was going to be here tonight. We both were talking before the show. We were like, yo, he might just show up at full gear. But no, Bobby is here now and laid out your boy Swerve. I'm digging this. What's your thoughts, Joel?
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see where they go with this. It's definitely one of those things like one man's trash is another one's treasure, right? Like WWE had a chance to, bring back the Hurt Business, maybe feud with the Bloodline. You could have had some money there.
Yeah.
But they passed on it. So, we had the Tricklings come in. We had Shelton. We had MVP. And now we got the big guy, Bobby Lashley, coming through. Looking like $1 million. He had the Eddie Murphy Raw suit on. But he looked great, though. He looked great. He looks, jacked as always. And I'm excited to see Bobby Lashley swerve. It's a match I never really thought about.
Right.
But seeing them in the ring facing off against each other, it looked right. Like Swerve comes from one end of the spectrum, obviously. He's been a indie guy. He was in WWE for a bit, and Bobby Lashley's always been a star, kind of, right, since the moment he came into the business. So it is almost like 2 different paths, but they both led to AEW at the end of the day, and we're gonna see what happens. But man, I'm excited.
Man, I'm excited too. I'm a fan of Bobby for the last 4 years. I was never really crazy about Bobby, but since he was doing the Almighty and the Hurt Business back in WWE, and now here, there's just something about him that screams money. He looks like money. He looks like big time. He's not complete trash in the ring. He's serviceable. He could do some stuff, and I think getting this new reiteration of the Hurt Business is got me excited because it probably in AEW can be done right. I'm just curious on who else joins this squad. Now there's some rumors, that we got the guy for what's his name? He got injured. Who's that?
Ricochet got
Ricochet as a possibility. You have
Leo Rush got one of the cards.
Oh Oh
Who
my
else?
God,
Mercedes got a card. A bunch of
Mercedes?
people.
But
I
who's
mean,
the big? Who's the big dude that that got
Hobbs.
Hobbs?
Yeah,
I think
Hobbs would be
Hobbs.
great. Whoa, I didn't
I
even
think
think about
Hobbs
that.
might be. He might be in that for sure.
Oh
That'd be
yeah, that's a
great.
good one.
That'd be great for Hobbs if he could get
Yeah.
into that hurt business. But to see what they do with it, who they got in mind, what it's going to look like 3 or 4 months down the line, and how they book this.
Yeah.
This could be huge, man, and this hurt business could get the love that it should have gotten in WWE. And I called it, man. I said they're not going to do nothing with this hurt business in WWE. Nothing. Like they don't know what to do with these
Yeah.
guys,
It
and
sucks too
it
because
happened.
they held it down during the pandemic.
Hmm.
During the Thunderdome
Yep.
era. They were like the big heels. They had a pretty good run.
Yeah.
I think they got the tag team championships, and Bobby Lashley was like the U.S. champ at one point.
Hmm.
But they never really went like all the way with it. And then that big money feud, they could have done the Bloodline and the Hurt Business. I think it would have been money, man. Seeing
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley face off at Roman.
Yeah.
The Usos at the time were part of the Bloodline still, so the Usos versus Cedric and Shelton when they were tag team champs. It could have been really cool. And Tony Khan, for as much as we like to say about him, he does know when to pick up on something that the fans like, and the fans love the Hurt Business. And yeah, I'm sure people are gonna say, "Oh, they're just rehashing WWE storylines." But at this end of the day, if there's money to be made, why not, right?
Why not, man? Why not? I mean, this is what but Joel, this is what needs to happen though. Tony can't drop the ball on this. Like, you can't keep bringing in guys, giving them 2-month runs and making them seem like they're big deals, and then we never hear from them again. Like, you can't keep up that pattern. Or people are just not going to tune into the product, which is kind of what we're seeing now with attendance records and ratings and all that stuff. And what scares me about this ratings is that next week they are going against WWE and NXT in the old ECW arena, and NXT has a card right now that's pretty damn good. So I just wonder what Tony's going to do to counter that. You can't get blown out by NXT, and if you do, it can't be by that big of a number. It can't be 300,000 to 800,000. That's crazy.
I think we're gonna need the administrator back next week to hear about this, because honestly, it's not looking good, man.
It's not looking good.
I love AEW, but when it comes to head with how hot NXT is right now, like back when they did beat NXT, they were getting like 900 a million a week, and those numbers are nowhere near that anymore. So I don't think they could beat NXT honestly head to head, especially the ECW arena. People are gonna tune in. People are going to tune into that. And most wrestling fans, whether they like to admit it or not, watch both. So if you're going to choose between one or the other, you're most likely going to pick that NXT. And then you catch Dynamite on, DVR or whatever.
Exactly.
But I don't know, man. TK, I'm praying for you, bro. I'm praying for you.
Listen, TK is going to need all the prayer he can get because this is and it's going to be a crazy week, because Tuesday we're coming off of election night, and we might not even know who might be elected by Wednesday night. So that could cut into some of the viewership.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people are tuning in and hoping for, or locking down in their bunkers. Who knows what's going to happen. But it's going to be a very interesting night. I got to see what Tony comes up with this card for Dynamite next week. He's gonna have to counter that somehow. Not sure how, but out of this Dynamite, not only did we got Bobby Lashley, right? We got Adam Cole back in his first match, which was good. It's a good match. But here's my thing, Joel, and just I'm a visual guy, okay? Adam Cole looks like a little boy standing next to Buddy Matthews. Buddy is all muscle, zero fat. You got your boy Adam Cole is all flab, no muscle definition. Just and it's not conceivable to believe that he could beat Buddy. So the match didn't come down to like a will of strength. It was kind of it was psychological. It was more psychology. But how did you think your boy looked? Did you get a chance to see that match?
I did get to watch the match. I mentioned it last week too. Like, Buddy is not the right choice for his first match back. Like, it just shows all of his
All
like
those flaws.
downfalls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't want to be put in the ring with someone who is literally living in the gym, and that's what it looks like with Buddy. So, like, I feel like they kind of dropped the ball there with putting him against that, and you could kind of hear the crowd was a little bit going for Buddy. There was some Buddy
Yeah.
chants, and we never hear Buddy chants. Like, come
No.
on, like,
Buddy,
and no offense to Buddy, Buddy is an amazing wrestler, but
friend
he's
of the
not
show.
the
Yeah.
type. Yeah, he's not the type to get the crowd like behind him. Maybe when it's the House of Black altogether, but him individually has never really had the crowd behind him. So for him to start getting chance over Adam Cole, I think it has to do with both what you're saying, the look of it all, like it's
Mhm.
just not believable, and then also Adam Cole and this storyline with MJF, man, like
Yeah,
it's
dude.
just very convoluted, not making sense. Even after
Mhm.
the match, we had the stare down with Malachi Black, which was dope.
Mhm.
I'm guessing that's where they go next, Malachi versus Adam Cole, which is gonna be cool too. But then when Adam Cole is giving the promo in the back, he's like talking about the MJF thing, and he's just like talking in circles almost. Like, oh yeah, I knew you were gonna turn on me. That's why I turned on you first. It's like, dude, like this
It,
storyline it needs work,
it
man.
has to go away.
Yeah, like I can't wait for them to hopefully just have one match and feud is over and they go
Joel,
their separate
honestly,
ways.
they should have never circled
Yeah,
back to this.
I
It was out of people's minds.
exactly.
They could have just done something with an MJF and him
Yep.
that could have just been a new thing without having to rehash this garbage that they did
Yeah.
before. Like now, no one cares, right?
Especially since MJF is not even there for the
He's
next
not
3 weeks.
there.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you starting a feud with someone who's not there for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Honestly, here's my booking that I would have done. I would have gotten him straight into a feud, Adam Cole with the House of Black. Have that be the big match at Full Gear, him versus Malachi. And it could be something about the devil where like Malachi has always talked about being devilish. He could have brought that up, brought it full circle, and then you bring down MJF down the road with Adam
Right.
Cole. But right now, it's like nobody wants this right now.
Nobody.
Nobody wants it. It's just weird, and that's why you're getting Buddy chants over
Yeah.
Adam Cole.
Yeah. And that's dangerous because if those chants continue, okay, for instance, his next opponent is probably going to be Malachi, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I believe that crowd is going to turn on Cole
Oh,
and
for sure,
cheer
man.
and cheer for Malachi because Malachi's cooler.
Yeah.
He looks better physically. And Cole is just kind of and no one cares about the storyline anymore. So
Yeah.
people, listen, it's not looking good. We heard, like you said, we heard Buddy chant. I've never heard a Buddy chant. I don't even know if that even existed, but I don't know. This is where Tony is giving too much leeway to the guys in the back. Be like MJF probably was like, yo, let me finish this story. And Tony was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Without really thinking about the nuts and bolts of this. Like, do we care about this anymore? But we'll see in the next coming weeks. If here's my prediction. I believe Adam Cole is going to get booed come this Malachi match. I'm calling it right now. He's going to get booed. But another thing in AEW that one of the last things I want to touch upon was the Jon Moxley of it all. I'm digging this group. They're badasses. They're beating up everybody. They're making everybody. They're killing everybody.
Yeah.
Here's the bad thing about this Jon Moxley thing, and we got Full Gear. We got Jon Moxley and Orange Cassidy for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Should be a good match.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Jon Moxley and his crew are beating up the D-level baby faces in AEW. Where are your baby face stars, Joel? Where are they? What's happened? Where are they?
When you think about it, there's not really many out there. We got Darby.
Exactly.
We got Darby. We got
Right.
Orange Cassidy. Darby made his return today, coming from the rafters. which was a little funny. I don't know.
Yeah,
It didn't work for me this time.
It didn't work. No, it definitely didn't work.
It's not as cool as like Sting, because Sting
No.
was like big in stature, so like he would come down and you would just see like this big menacing guy. But when it's like Darby and he's being hugged by like this pink jacket, it looks like someone's taking his lunch money. Like, what do you think? Yeah.
Like ragging him. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was still a cool moment, and I like the Orange Cassidy promo at the beginning of the show. You know, he's stepping up, he's becoming the leader that he doesn't want to be, but he has to be, basically, which is a cool story that they're telling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's very heel heavy. The show is very heel heavy right now.
Heel heavy.
Will Ospreay has been gone for a while.
Right.
Swerve is in his own storyline with the Hurt Syndicate, Hurt Business, whatever they're called. And now we got Jon Moxley terrorizing the locker room, and then there's no one really for him to terrorize besides Dark Order.
Dark Order, like what?
And Top Flight, like
and Top Flight, like. Come on, man, do better.
Oh,
You got to build this. You got to build your baby faces up.
We did have one more thing to touch on Dynamite. The tag team titles. We got a title change, man. Private Party. Shout out to Private Party.
Listen, man, we gotta give it up to Private Party, man. Gotta give it up to Private Party, man.
Honestly, that match was really good. Private Party kind of put themselves on the map a little bit with that match.
100%. Yeah.
They have a really good tag team. I'm glad they didn't break them up. That would have been stupid. So it was a really good up and coming tag team, and I'm hoping that this is momentum to build back that tag team division, because that's what got me into AEW originally.
Exactly.
The tag team division was incredible, and since the Bucks had the titles, it's kind of fallen off. And I'm hoping now with an actual tag team that's going to be there week in, week out, we get that tag team division back to where it was originally.
Yeah, man. I the match was very good, and there was a lot of false finishes where you thought the match was over and they kept going. I had no idea with all the false finishes. I had no idea which way they were going to go.
Yeah,
I thought the Bucks at some point was still going to pin them, but they made you believe that it could be you just don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, big up to Private Party, man. Well deserved. Really good match. Really good change of a title. I think it makes sense. Especially if the Bucks are, they want to be on their part-time ish, like all the other big time wrestlers making all the money, right? They want to follow this trend of being there every 3 months or something, like. So it's whatever. But yes, this should be the beginning of a new era of the tag team division,
for sure.
But we'll see if AEW doesn't drop the ball on this, man. We'll see. But I wanted to circle back to WWE, but NXT just for a moment. So I'm going to call this out. I'm going to say this right now, Joel, and you might agree with me. I'm going to say NXT by far has the best women's division in wrestling. Am I wrong about that?
I don't think they have the best women's division in wrestling. I think they just focus on the women more than any other company, which is really good. And I think they make the women a focal point of the show. But I think when you put it, like, comparing it to the AEW women's roster, I would say the AEW women's roster is better. It's just not utilized to the point that it should be. Because when you stack up just the top of the card, we got Mercedes, we got Mariah May, you got Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, Camille. Like, you got a stacked women's roster. It's just they're not being used correctly. And then on NXT, you have a bunch of great women wrestlers, and I think they're all really capable. But they're still green, some of them.
Right.
And that's okay. That's what NXT is for. And you could tell that they're still going through the motions, learning how to cut promos and all that. It's just that they're the focal point of the show, to the point where there's like, for every men's segment on NXT, there's like 4 or 5 women's segments.
Right.
And it's to the point now where I'm like, damn, they need some men, like,
yeah.
which is crazy, right? Because that's always been the opposite when we talk about wrestling. We always talk about, like, damn, the women need more time. The women need more time. But now it's at the point where there's like, how many times they're gonna run Ethan Page versus Trick Williams because they got nobody else?
Because they got nobody. Yo, but Joel, you see, that's what AEW should be doing for the reasons why you just named, which is
Yeah.
all the top women they have in that company.
Yeah.
For you get maybe one,
Hmm.
you get one,
Yeah.
maybe two women's matches. You're going to get one,
Yeah.
but in terms of promo or in ring or maybe one or two.
Yeah.
It's not, like you said, it's not being utilized,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. That's why I've gone to say that NXT has the best women's division, because they are getting reps.
Yeah.
They're on
You're right.
TV. They're having matches. You got a wild 5-on-5 at NXT next week in Philly, which is the 10 best women in the company, and that's including Vaquer and Julia
Yeah.
and Roxanne, and it's a who's who. And they're doing their thing. They are, they're still green,
Hmm.
but they are definitely getting more reps than most of them. Where's Willow at? We haven't seen Willow in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that's
Like,
the thing with
come on, man.
AEW's letting NXT surpass them when it comes to the women's division, and you're kind of setting yourself up for failure here, because yeah, you might have more veterans and more in ring like specialty wrestlers,
Yeah.
but if NXT is giving their women more reps, they're gonna surpass them. They're gonna get better than you. So you do risk that, So
Hmm.
hopefully Tony Khan. I don't know. I don't trust Tony Khan when it comes to booking women.
I hear you. I don't trust Tony either. Um, he has not shown to
I mean,
care much.
you got Athena in ROH doing, like, she's doing fantastic work. She's been champion for like 400 something days.
Some of the best work in her career.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
nobody's watching it.
Right.
So does it even count,
Yeah.
At this point, like, we need to put her on a bigger stage.
Hmm.
We need to figure out what's going on with Willow, with Mercedes, like put her in a prominent position. I mean, they are going to go. It looks like Mercedes versus Chris Statlander. That should be good.
Hmm.
But it just feels like it's almost like Mercedes is almost getting like the villain. Well, she's the baby. I mean, she's the heel in this story, but it seems like she's just getting the baby face of the week to wrestle, and then
Right.
there's no real storyline
No
going.
story.
The last story that she really had was her and Willow. I feel like when she first came into and they actually had like a legit reason to be fighting.
Yeah.
Since then, it's kind of just been like, all right, you could face Britt Baker, you could face Hikaru Shida, and
Yeah.
now Chris Statlander. Like, it's just lining them up to lose to Mercedes, but there's no one's really benefiting from it, because Mercedes is still in the same position, and then the
Yeah.
women that are losing to her are in the same position or worse, because they get dropped down to the bottom of the card.
And this is where AW struggles. They
Yeah.
don't tell stories right, man. They don't be giving you. They don't sync, or they don't grab the viewer to want to watch another week.
Especially with the women.
Especially with the women.
Yeah.
They do not grab the casual viewer, not just you and I. Like, you and I will tune in and
Yeah.
we'll sit through the abuse. We'll just sit through it. We'll sit through it. But they don't capture the casual fan who wants to watch a little wrestling. They don't make that person want to come back,
Yeah.
because it's like, what am I coming back for? But speaking of coming back, Jimmy Uso is back.
Oof.
And Jimmy and Jey seem to have come back to becoming the Usos, the brothers, again. Now, I don't know how long this lasts. I don't know if this is like a tag team. I personally don't want to see them in a tag team again. They did that for so long. Been there, done that. Maybe have some one-offs here and there, but I think they need to stay singles wrestlers. But they're back, and there's a lot of stuff brewing here, man. You had Sammy talking to Solo.
Yeah.
You had Jimmy and Jey kind of reconciling. You had Roman with the side eye to Jey on spec. There's a lot of stuff brewing, man. How do you feel about the Usos being back together? Is this a Joel hate segment? What we going? Where we going with this?
Yeah, man. All I gotta say is no yeet.
No yeet.
I'm not feeling it, man. I feel like we're rushing it. We're rushing it. We're getting to the point where it's like everyone. This is my problem with the Bloodline story. We all know where it's headed, and we've known where it's headed for so long that it's kind of to the point now where it's like, just get it over with.
Right.
Just get it over with. And I feel like that's how they are feeling. The company themselves are trying to just get it over with to the point where it's like, all right, they already set up a 6-man tag for Crown Jewel. Roman, Jimmy, and Jey just all of a sudden are cool again. Yeah, Roman is still like hesitant. Jey is still hesitant about Roman, but all of a sudden, Jey and Jimmy are embracing each other like nothing happened. It just seems like you would think after everything that they put Jey through, like Jey was the one that got abused the most by the bloodline. Like from the
Right.
beginning of the story with during the Thunderdome era where they had the Hell in a Cell match and Roman was just shit talking Jey the whole time, the whole match, just shit talking to him, beating him into submission basically to
Into
join the
submission,
bloodline.
basically. Yep.
You had Jimmy, he gave up in that match because Jimmy was in a chokehold. He was saving his brother, and then Jimmy ended up turning on him at the end of the whole story anyway.
That's right.
So Jey ended up going to Raw to get away from all this, and then all of a sudden now he's showing up on SmackDown like, oh, you know, we about family. This is about family, and he's telling Solo like, yo, this you're breaking up the family, bro. You're not even part of the family anymore. You said you didn't want to be part of it, so now none of that matters anymore. I guess let's retcon all of that, and now I'm cool with my brother again. That's my twin. I get it. That's your twin. You're gonna have that bond forever. But for it to just rush from that, and then all of a sudden we're gonna have a 6-man tag at Crown Jewel, like I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling it yet. I'm hoping they land. You know, eventually they land it to the point where it all makes sense. I am interested to see what happens with Sammy. I thought that was honestly that was the best part of the little reunion on Raw when they were talking to him backstage, and Jey was like, "You're not family." And Sammy just had that like heartbreaking look. I was like, all right, see, Sammy is the best thing that ever happened to the bloodline. And once he's involved is when the story gets popping again. So I'm hoping him.
Joel, I gotta listen.
Go ahead.
Sammy is probably by far the best actor in wrestling, period. He gives you raw emotion. He gets the crowd cheering for him, being on his side, rooting for him all the way. And when he's hurt, you hurt. When he's hurt, you see it, you feel it. Like he is the best at this. And for him to be back in this, which we all kind of predicted that he was going to obviously be back in this. I just wonder what's the next layer of what we're going to see Sammy do emotionally, physically, and all that stuff. I'm very intrigued to see this next stage of it, because we're going to have a lot of stuff going on. We're going to have The Rock probably doing some stuff. We're going to have maybe another family member, Samoan family member, whoever that may be. There's a lot of rumors. There's a ton of them. You could slot anybody in. I don't know. But yeah, man, this is going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy. And the Usos getting back together is cool. It's a cool moment. But I got to tell you, I no yeet for me either. I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go heel on this one. Jey is just lukewarm for me. Like he doesn't do anything for me in the ring. His shtick is corny because it's not for us, it's for kids. So I can't vibe with it. I don't get the yeet thing. I don't like it. But I it's today and everyone's got a catchphrase or saying or whatever. I guess I'm just too old to understand. But it's just not. I don't know. It's just not doing anything for me. Like I don't think he's cool. Like I think Braun Breaker is cool. Like I think I think Gunther is cool. Like he's just he's your typical baby face, but I don't know. He doesn't speak star to me. I don't know. He just doesn't give me star. He gives me mid card at best, not main event. It just doesn't do anything for me, man.
No, I have to agree. And I think part of me wonders if the company feels the same way. And that's why they brought him back to his brother. Like, at the end of the day, the Usos are known as a tag team, one of the best tag teams ever. And maybe that's just their ceiling, right? Like Intercontinental Champion, maybe Jimmy gets US title one day or something like that. But I don't see them ever being world champ. I think you could make Jey a world champ, like he has the fans behind him. But what do you do after that? If you can't really hot shot someone to the title and then not have a plan, as you can see with like what's going on with Cody, which I
Yeah,
feel
man.
like, you know.
Exactly.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, they are one of the best tag teams ever. So I'm not mad at them being a tag team again. We'll see if it lasts. But yeah, man. I mean, we got Motor City Machine Guns now in SmackDown. That's a dream match right there.
Yeah.
You could do
Winning the
it.
tag team titles
Yeah.
in their debut match, which I love. That's great booking. I loved it. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
They're not a team that needs to wait around. They're not a team that needs to get shipped to NXT. They're not a team that needs to win squash matches. No.
Yeah.
Throw them right in and have them win. That was perfect.
Yeah, part of
Perfect.
me thinks that it might be by design to get the Usos back together, because if you're
Mhm.
building that tag team division, you got MCMG, you got DIY, you got Usos, maybe you got the Lucha Bros coming soon. You know, you start building that up. You got these dream matches of Usos versus Motor City Machine Guns, Uso versus Lucha Bros, if that
Sure.
happens, and then from there you could kind of just build around them. And uh, at the end of the day, like Jimmy and Jay are best together. Like,
Right.
yeah, Jay is cool. The no ye whatever is cool, but when they're together, I feel like you could tell that they're having the most fun that they when they're wrestling together. So if that's what they want to do, and fuck it,
Yeah.
let's see what happens
See what
next.
happens, man. Well, we gotta see what happens on this Saturday. Major PLE Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia. It's starting at some ridiculous time that nobody's
Like
going to be up.
1 p.m. Eastern or
1
something.
p.m. 1 p.m. in the middle of a Saturday afternoon. Thank God for Peacock, because you can just pick it up whenever you
Yeah,
want. But we got 7 matches, which is weird,
it's
because
big, right?
usually WWE has been doing the 5-match thing. I guess the Saudi prince was like $1 billion. I want 7 matches. So they gave him 7 matches, and the matches are pretty interesting. I don't love the Gunther versus Cody for the men's crown jewel and the Liv versus Nia for the women's crown jewel. There's no real story behind them,
Hmm.
and the fact that we're getting Gunther and Cody for this versus like a meaningful storyline is kind
Yeah,
of, I don't know, just doesn't do anything for me. I'm intrigued. I don't think it's going to be a clean win on either side. I think Kevin Owens is going to have something to do with it, or possibly rumors are Goldberg. Jesus Christ, I don't want to see Goldberg. I don't want to see Goldberg.
that might happen
Please,
though.
it might
In
happen, but
Saudi, that might happen.
I don't want to see Goldberg. But what's your thoughts on the 2 crown jewel matches? Nia Jackson, Liv. Like, have they even been doing anything around that? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Who. I don't know. What
yeah.
any thoughts on these?
I mean, Cody and Gunther is gonna be a good match
Good match,
for
yeah.
sure. I am disappointed that this is how we're getting that match
Right.
after like the past 2 Royal Rumbles. They've kind of built like a little bit of a feud between the two of them. I think Cody eliminated Gunther in both Royal Rumbles that he's been in, which is a cool little fact right there.
Mhm. Oh,
But
nice.
it's interesting that their first actual match is, first of all, is overseas, which I thought you would want to go with the whole American, and build it to this like Rocky, type
Exactly.
Rocky versus Ivan Drago type thing,
Right.
but like, they're going a different direction. I'm sure this is not going to be the last time they meet, and they'll probably meet with higher stakes certain down the road.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's gonna be a good match at the end of the day, but yeah, like it doesn't matter at the end. Like it's a match for a nothing belt.
Right.
KO will probably interfere, I'm guessing, and it won't be a clean win, because you don't want one of your champions losing
No.
clean.
Gunther
So
should not be getting pinned, and
yeah,
Cody
either
either.
way,
Yeah, either way.
yeah, exactly. So that's an interesting one. And then Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, man, I
That's gonna be
just don't.
rough. That's gonna be
Yeah,
rough.
like I
That's gonna be
kind of
rough.
wish it was Rhea, maybe like Rhea
Right.
versus Nia. You could build to like these 2 big forces going against each other, but Liv Morgan versus, like, that's not a believable match at
No.
all. Like, so that's good. I'm sure Dom will get involved somehow.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It just seems like one of those nothing pay per view. It seems like they for a while the Saudi pay per views were starting to be part of the storyline a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they had the Bloodline Civil War in one of them, I
Mhm.
think. And then now I feel like they're kind of reverted back to when it's like, yeah, this is that throwaway.
Yeah,
None
let's
of
just
this
put a
is
couple of stuff
real.
yeah. Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, we might do uh Undertaker and Kane versus DX or some random match, like things like that.
That could happen. That could definitely
yeah.
happen. Now let me get your thoughts on this: the Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. That's a big come up for those two.
Yeah.
And versus Io Sky and Kairi Sane for the tag team championships. My prediction is, why not give it to Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson?
Okay, cool.
I like these two in terms of personality. I think they got personality. They're still green.
Yeah.
But okay to work enough where you could throw the tag team titles, which is a floating championship anyway.
Yeah.
Why not? And this could be the start. If they're going to go Jade and Bianca at WrestleMania, possibly,
That's true.
this could be the beginning stages of the unraveling of that tag team. Piper and Chelsea doesn't need it, but Chelsea's been really over with her matches, and Chelsea's just fantastic. I think she's very good. I think she just needs to start winning some serious matches.
Yeah.
And Io and Kyrie don't need it. They've had it. I give it to Lash and Jakara. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, you're making a good point. Honestly, if we are gonna see Jade and Bianca down the road, this could be that start to that. And then, like you said, Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson, I feel like they could kind of use this as their way to come up to the main roster without really making like too big of a deal out of it. They kind of already floated them on SmackDown a couple times. They had a couple matches. So and it's also good because the women's tag team division needs help. They don't have they could only do the same tag teams so many times before we get bored. You know, so you bring them up, maybe you have them float the titles around to NXT still, they could do all three brands and wrestle and it won't be weird. I could see that happening for sure. And it also gives something for Jade to or Bianca, whoever ends up turning or whatever you want to say. If it's someone like Lash Legend who's just as big as Jade Cargill in stature, I could see it being like a big money match down the road too. Jade Cargill versus Lash Legend 1-on-1, or Bianca Belair versus Lash Legend 1-on-1 could also be a big match. So yeah, you give them the titles and then maybe run it back just a 2-on-2 tag team match at the next pay-per-view, and then that's where you have the turn happen. Yeah, I can see that.
That could happen. That could happen. Listen, man. Listen, with like we were talking about, like with a PLE like Crown Jewel, experiment with some stuff, man.
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
And when you really look at the rest of the card, I don't see. Yeah, that's technically the only real championships on the line.
Right.
So if they want to make a big splash, yeah, you should have someone. Oh, then we got the U.S. triple threat match as well.
That's going to be a good match.
Yeah.
But I think LA holds it. LA's not losing that title. And then Orton and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. I don't know.
That's gonna be fun. I mean,
they just don't do anything for me anymore, man. Like I know Kevin's been so damaged. I don't know. And Orton's like Orton.
It's kind of like rushed a little bit too.
Yeah.
With the whole I don't know. It seems like they're leading towards Randy Orton turning on Cody, I think, sooner rather than later. But I just don't get what this part of the story. And then are we gonna run Kevin Owens and Cody again? Because Cody hasn't gotten his lick back for the whole beat up by the bus.
Right.
So I don't know. And this is part of the reason that I'm a little thrown off with Crown Jewel, because I feel like it does throw a wrench. It's almost like when AEW does Forbidden Door, right? And now you got to do all these feuds with New Japan, and it throws a wrench into the storylines you've been building for a while. And I feel like that's what's happening with Crown Jewel with these Crown Jewel championships.
Good point.
You're throwing a wrench in the storylines. Like Gunther and Damian Priest had like a one-off backstage segment, and then nothing came from it because you kind of have to wait till for this to be over.
Exactly.
So it's weird, but we'll see what happens with that Randy Orton KO. I'm gonna predict that Randy Orton gets the win there.
Randy Orton gets the win. Yeah, that's what I'm predicting. How about Roman Reigns, the Usos versus Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa?
That's gonna be interesting, man. Wait,
are we no idea?
Jacob Fatu better be in that match. That's the only way I would watch that match.
He'll probably be involved somehow. you know, Jacob's probably he's definitely going to be involved, but where that match goes, I'm obviously. Is it obvious to predict Roman and the Usos go over, or could they swerve us and give us a? Here's my thing: Solo can't keep losing matches as the man of Bloodline 2.0 or whatever. Like, you got to give him wins, and if you give him a win at Crown Jewel, like what? Like, it's not Mania. Give him a win at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my prediction. I'm gonna go wild on that one. Solo, Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you with that prediction as well. I think we'll probably see maybe some miscommunication between Jey and Roman to keep that story going, and then the Bloodline get the win because we still have War Games coming up at the end of November, so there has to be some sort of Bloodlines War Games match. So maybe we get the new Bloodline getting the win, and then maybe they'll need someone like a Sami Zayn to help them get back together and
Sammy coming back
and beat the new Bloodline, something like that.
Yeah. That sounds about. And listen, we got also we can't forget Bronson Reed, who's been getting a major push, and Seth Rollins. They've been pushing the hell out of this match, and it's got me to the point where I'm actually interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
But Bronson's got to go over. I mean, Bronson again, he's another guy. They're pushing hard. He cannot keep losing. Like, he can't lose a big match. And Seth can take a loss and be okay. Bronson, you have him destroying cars and fighting in the back and doing all these crazy things, and then you're gonna have him lose? Like, nah. I'm sorry. Bronson's got to go over. If again, this is a PLE where you experiment with stuff like that. Have Bronson go over. I'm
surprised that match is just a regular match. I mean, that's what it says.
It says unsanctioned match, which
it's unsanctioned. Okay.
I guess no holds barred, right? So they could do whatever they want.
Yeah, because the way they were fighting through the whole garage and parking lot and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm actually gonna predict that Seth Rollins wins that match, just because if they're gonna start heating up Seth Rollins to, I don't know what his WrestleMania plans are now, but I'm assuming it's gonna be him versus CM Punk or something. One of those big matches, and he just came back from being written off TV by Bronson Reed. So I think he'll get his lick back, but I think Bronson Reed's gonna really destroy him, and then Seth Rollins will get like the roll up victory or something like that to keep everyone strong. But I think Seth Rollins gets that.
Okay. Okay. Well, we shall see. That is that's going to be Crown Jewel this Saturday at like 1 p.m. 7 matches. Should be interesting. Saudi shows always they're more spectacle than substance, to tell you the truth. But we shall see. But WWE did something or made a major announcement today. We'll get into that. WWE is doing a thing. It's called WWE ID, which is independent development, and apparently they're teaming up and partnering with a few prominent independently well picked wrestling schools like Booker T's Reality of Wrestling in Houston, Cody Rhodes Nightmare Factory in Atlanta, Seth Rollins Black and Brave Academy in Iowa, Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center in New Hampshire, Knox Pro Academy in Los Angeles. So they're teaming up with these places. They're going to be training these future superstars. They probably have some wrestlers who are probably current or maybe not so current. Go down, just kind of coach and vibe with them, and possibly bring them on up. I love this, and if this means that they're not there, and here's the thing. For this to be really cool, they can't just partner with the big wrestling schools. Like, maybe go into some of your mid-level wrestling schools that's not owned by a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like a Battle Club Pro, which is in Brooklyn. Big ups to Battle Club Pro, like those type of places, right? That's where you find the hungry, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to the top kind of thing. If they do that, that'll be dope. But I'm loving this initiative. I think it's great. I think it opens the door to new talent, and not just these athletes that come from gymnastics or soccer or whatever, like some actual independent wrestlers, man. What's your thoughts?
I'm a little bit on two minds about it, because Yeah, I think I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be a good thing for sure. But I'm also a bit worried about everyone getting taught the same way, right? Like I don't want
Mm,
everyone to learn
the
WWE style,
WWE way.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like if you think about some of the biggest stars in WWE right now, a lot of them learned on the indies. You know, Seth Rollins, even Cody Rhodes when he left and came back. You know, Cody Rhodes worked ROH, he worked New Japan, he created AEW, and then came back. You know, and if he was to not do that and just relied on what WWE taught him, he wouldn't be the star that he is now.
Right.
You got Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. A lot of these guys that are major stars in WWE right now got a lot of their like bearings on the indies.
Hmm.
So I'm worried about that, but I think at the end of the day, it will be a good thing. It's just hope that it doesn't become sort of like what they did in the UK when they started NXT UK and they just gobbled up all the indie talent and
Right.
then destroyed the British indie scene.
Yeah.
So and it's still recovering to this day.
Still
Like,
recovering. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm hoping it's not one of those things. I think they have good intentions, though. I don't think it's different since they're partnering with the schools instead of like the actual indie promotions.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that those students that are involved still could work, other indies and not be like reprimanded or something like that. But we'll see as it goes. It just got announced, so we're not really sure how it works. But the good thing, like you said, that I think is cool is that it is gonna give a lot of like retired wrestlers probably something to do. You know,
Yeah.
you send I don't know whoever Road Dog or whoever is hanging
Or
around
Kevin
backstage.
Nash. You know.
Yeah, you send them to these indies to coach and give what they have to the industry, which is cool. So yeah, I'm hoping that it works out. Hopefully, it's not just them teaching them how to look at the hard cam,
Yeah.
and we never get any more like cool indie moves in WWE anymore because
Yep.
everybody's just playing to the hard cam. But nah, at the end of the day, this is a really cool initiative, and I mean, if it makes most wrestlers and wrestlers training to be wrestlers, that's their end goal, right? WWE. And
Hmm.
if it makes it that much easier to get there, then hell yeah, man. Like more power to that
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, once you're in, and you can maneuver wherever you want in terms of other companies, and there's options now, but once you're in the system.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. Everyone learning the same style may take away from what makes them special on the indie scene, right? Like if someone has his own style, you're now teaching me all the glossy beautifulness of wrestling. I want to just get down and dirty and just fight and
Yeah.
wrestle, like, you know what I'm saying? So I hear where you're coming from. So that could be a little worry, but like you said, if it allows that dude or that girl to get in when they normally didn't have a chance,
Yeah.
I'm with that, man.
For
I'm
sure.
with that. We'll see what happens with this one as well, y'all. But yeah, but Joel, is there anything else we need to get to? Did we miss anything?
Nah, the one thing we gotta shout out the Yankees. They're up 6-5 right now.
They're up 6-5.
I
What,
know
what
I know Lewis is biting his nails right now.
biting his nails, man. He's on the edge right now. He's
See.
listen. If the Yankees could get this back to LA for Game 6, we you might be if they could go to listen. If Yankees take this to a Game 7, that's going to be wild. Lewis said 7, and
That's true. He did. He
he
did
knows
call
his
that.
team, man. He
He
knows.
did call that.
He called.
It's not
He
over
said
till it's over,
it
right?
is not over till it's over. It's a Mount Everest of a thing to get to, though,
Yeah.
to win 4 straight against the Dodgers. Like the Dodgers got to be off, or you just got to be very lucky. Like it's tough stuff have to happen.
For
But
sure. Shout out to
we'll see.
Damian Priest too, big Yankee fan. He
Yeah,
he did get an L on Raw
yeah,
to
you got it now.
Dominic Mysterio, but maybe it was a sacrifice so the Yankees could win. You never know.
Hey, good for Dominic winning a match on
Yeah,
TV, man.
against a
Like Dom,
former world champ too.
yeah, listen, Dom needs to win some matches, man. Again, these guys got to win matches to stay relevant in
Yeah,
terms
you're
of
right.
being like these badass like people we're supposed to believe are threatening, or in a group that's threatening, right? Like we want to believe that Judgment Day is this menacing, just down and dirty street trash group or whatever, right? They got to win matches. Like they got to win. So I'm glad he got the win, the W on that. But y'all, listen, man, thank y'all for joining on the Mark Wrestling Podcast for episode 70. We're 70, man. Listen, we got some stuff in the works. We're gonna work on some interviews, some partnerships, all that good stuff. Bring you some special topics, but wrestling is so hot right now. We just got news all the time. So those special topics, we're gonna squeeze them in though. We're gonna squeeze them in, and hopefully by next week, Lewis is here with us in a good mood after winning a championship. But we'll keep you guys posted. Where is Lewis? Where is Lewis, y'all? But listen, I'm your boy Kayode, joined by Joel. Joel, it's been a pleasure, man.
Thank you, man. Always a pleasure. Once again, no yeet.
No yeet. This may be no yeet part 2. That's what we're gonna call this episode, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.
You've been listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling, and email us at onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Joel, I gave you the login and stuff for YouTube.
Yeah, let me try to log in now.
All right, cool.
When I was trying before, it was asking me for my Google Pixel. I'm like, I don't got a Google Pixel.
Oh, that's Lewis.
Let me see if you can give me the code.
Lewis is the
Android,
the gatekeeper.
Team Android over there.
Yeah, he's the gatekeeper for that.
Yo, the Sports for You podcast, bro. They follow us.
Yes,
bro. They blowing up my regular Instagram with a DM like every day.
Oh, did they?
I'm like, I get it, you're promoting, but I'm about to block y'all.
Yeah.
I literally haven't said a word to them back, and they just.
I wanna